Hello, everybody. All right, this is part 3, and we're on the future of surveillance, AI, data, brokers, and the coming panopticon. So, surveillance isn't just about what Edward Snowden and WikiLeaks revealed in the past. It's much more, because you got to look at when they came out with this information. It was 2012 to 2000. Yeah, I think it was around 2012. And it's about where we're heading, because now they're talking about digital. So AI is driven through facial recognition, and it's a predictive policing through biometrics, the ID. I mean, we're going down this road where literally our body is going to be digitalized. And data brokers selling our lives, and the rise of smart cities designed to watch every move. You've got to think too, like, what is it? And why is it that they want to watch our every move? And why do they want a society like this? And this is where logic needs to be correct with every individual. Because right now we're operating in a logic that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And we get logic through information and data. And then because all that's flawed, we end up having flawed logic. And I'm going to do a video after this on that, and I'm going to explain how you have to come back around from all the flawed logic that you're operating with to having logic that's precise and that you can use, and you can say, wait a minute, you can discern, you can say, that doesn't make sense because all these 4 points, it doesn't match. The pattern's off. So we're going to come to that. But we'll look at how the government, today, we're going to look at how the government and corporations are fusing power, how loopholes like data brokers, sales bypass the Constitution, and why AI supercharges the surveillance state. And most importantly, we'll ask, is this the world we want to build? They are shaping reality right now. And this is what they're doing. And we have say-so. We do. So, we can call them the Illuminati, the cabal, the deep state, all these fancy words for them. But you know what they really are? They're mobsters. Let's call them that. Why are we calling them Illuminati like there's some great light? No, they're mobsters. And let's call them who they are. So, in Speak, I want to go through what part 1 and part 2. And in part 1, we explored Snowden's revelations about the mass surveillance. And part 2, we uncovered WikiLeaks, Vault 7, and the dark arsenal of cyber weapons. Today, we're going to turn to the future, because surveillance isn't standing still. It's getting bigger. It's evolving. And artificial intelligence, biometrics, and smart cities are building the new reality. We have to face it. We have to look at it. Take responsibility. We have to hear what they're saying. Remember, When someone tells you something, believe them. And a digital panopticon. That's what they're building. And humanity must decide whether we accept it, resist it, or reinvent it. And I think that it's a little bit of like reinventing it, but not to the point where there's a control mechanism that we have to follow, because we're already in that in so many ways, if you think about it. So we have to pull this back fast, because they're already full blown. I mean, Elon Musk is already talking about the high income payments to all citizens. Now, there's a lot of stuff to talk about that, but I'm not going to get into it right now, because I have my own, like, I've kind of looked at the pattern, and what the logic, how I get to logic that won't be flawed is through the information I digest, and then I split up the information that I get, and then I put it into scenarios. It's either 1, 2, or 3 scenarios. And that's how I do it, because there's 3. Okay, so information is just about this. Possibilities that it can create. To probabilities to possibilities. Probabilities first and possibilities second. So that's how you have to look at information. So you have to put it into, okay, it could be this, it could be that, or it could be that, with this information that you get. So let's move on. Okay, that's a whole nother video in itself. So the data broker loophole, buying our lives. Even after courts demanded warrants for surveillance, agencies found a workaround, buying our data. They're very clever, aren't they? And then they got the location data. Agencies purchase smartphones, locations, histories from data brokers, sidestepping the Fourth Amendment. Do you see? I mean, it's just... And then browsing habits. Data packages now include search histories, app usage, and even health-related browsing. They know everything about you. I mean, if you don't think that they're not, like, have a good viewpoint on society and how they know what they'll do is they're going to put it in a supercomputer, and then the supercomputer, they ask questions, and then they say, okay, humanity's thinking this way, this portion is thinking this, and that, and they divide it up, like I told you, the logic. So it's not, they go straight to, okay, so if society is thinking this, then we're going to do that. And this is how it operates. It's a game. And the game is this. The reason why they win is because they have all of our information and they know what we're thinking about. And they put it into the supercomputer and it spits back what direction for them to take to where they ultimately want to be. They're going to take us there by looking at our thoughts and where we go, what we eat, okay? So even if, I'm not saying like, oh, they're after you or anything like that, but you have to look at the milestones of where we're at now from where it was 60 years ago. So, all right, so I said location data. And then browsing habits. Now let's go to confirmed in 2024. What was confirmed? NSA and DHS admitted to buying U.S. internet records through third parties. What possibly? I mean, we're not criminals. What they're doing is they're using this data for logic. Trust me, I know this. I know the pattern. And they're using it so that they can achieve their goals. So that they can slowly ease us in, because they just can't go step 1 to step 10. They take us on a slow, soft stepping stone. And they know how we're thinking, and then at that point, then they introduce something that's going to take us to their reality. So it's not like we see it. We may feel something, but we don't yet see it, but then it slowly gets introduced. Slowly but surely, it goes further and further and further. So I believe the data that they're collecting on all of us is to advance their agenda, because there's no other reason. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe to hide what they're doing, but that's, you know what, they don't even care anymore. They're coming out and telling us that they're, coming into our houses and this and that. So it doesn't, they don't even care. They don't care. They want to advance the agenda quickly, and the only way that they can do it is through our information. So this surveillance is for sale. And so that's why a lot of companies are coming up, and they're making billionaires, and they're getting into data collection and surveillance, because they know that people want to buy it. That's the next big, go where the bucks are kind of a thing. So, and the privacy, or our privacy, is reduced to commodity. Also it's used for products and all different types of avenues, and for marketing and what have you. So now we're going to go to AI-powered surveillance. And artificial intelligence supercharges surveillance. That's facial recognition. AI scans crowds in real time, identifying individuals instantly. Like you're driving, like remember I told you I got from the police in the mail, they had my car scanned and exactly how many miles or how fast I was going, and it was a warning. And they showed me the pictures on the piece of paper where I was driving. So that's nothing though. We're walking into the store, and we have a bunch of ice cream in our cart, and they zoom right on in, and they're, they know everything. It's like, it's crazy. So, and then behavior analysis. Now, I find this very interesting, because I'm going to tell you afterwards, but the algorithms predict suspicious activity based on posture and your travel patterns. Okay. I find that they can do this, right? But what about like, other behavior? Like, okay, so they have the cameras all up around us. This is like known. I mean, we have millions of cameras everywhere. We don't even notice it, because we're not looking we're not looking for it. We're just, we're living our life. That's what we're doing. But they have all this, and they have all this information on people, but they just can't, catch the crooking and the corruption. And they have it all. They have all what everybody's doing, but they don't go for that. This is why I always find it really weird. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. So the predictive policing, okay, is AI models claim to forecast where crime will occur, often reinforcing bias against vulnerable communities. Makes you think, doesn't it? Now let's go to the rise of biometrics ID systems, because this is kind of interesting as well. Around the world, biometric ID programs are expanding. We see it with China and the social credits. And then now the Netherlands, those twits, they just, hang their ass out. They're all chipped and everything. And I always notice they go to these, like the Netherlands and Sweden. Remember back in 2005, I think it was, they were getting chipped. Back then, it was all in Sweden. And those people, they just go right along with it. It was on the news and everything. It could have been a little bit past, like maybe 2007. It was like right around there. But the China social credit system and tying surveillance to financial access and behavioral monitoring all together. So if you say something or do something, or you're not maybe paying your taxes, or you didn't pay maybe a ticket or something, they can turn you off. Or especially free speech, that's where they're going to use it. To me, that seems like that's the fastest way to shut down free speech, and it's the fastest way to put people in line. And then India, they have a system, the largest biometric ID database, logging fingerprints and the iris scans of over 1 billion people so far. I knew that they would do that in India. I mean, if you've ever been there, that's another whole thing. But anyways, Western expansion. Airports, banks increasingly require facial or fingerprint verification. And we know that because that's, to get onto your iPhone, or to have, to get onto banking. Now you can use your thumbprint. And then the biometrics make surveillance inescapable, is what it does. And you can change your password, but not your face. You might, surgeons are probably going to. Plastic surgery is probably going to fly up, because who knows? People might just say the hell with it and get crazy and go get a facelift or something. Or put on a mask from Hollywood and say the hell with it. They have those masks that are human. Then let's get to the smart cities and the digital panopticon. So cities are being built with surveillance as infrastructure, like the CCTV networks tied to the AI analytics, and traffic sensors and license plate readers feeding live database. So they can see, that means they can see everything. They can, wherever you go, they go. Like, look at it like that. It just is. And that's been in place for a very long time. Maybe the last decade or so, maybe even longer. And then you have the IoT devices from smart street lights to smart thermometers or thermostats. And those are feeding real-time data streams as well. So like I remember like with the air conditioner, and this was 4 or 5 years ago, that we were able to turn down our air conditioner down to 60 degrees. Now you can't go, you can only go down to 64. And it was 60 to 59 before. So I kind of find that kind of, it's interesting. And I was actually talking to a friend about that. And then the dream, the total efficiency, the danger is that they get total control. And that's how it is. It's a prison system, basically. I mean, no, you're not in prison, but essentially you are, because they have all your information, and with digital, they can turn you off anytime that they want. And guards don't need to watch anymore, I mean, they might as well let all the prisoners out then, right? And they may do that. Think about it. So prisoners behave as if they're being watched when they're in prison. They all know they're being watched. And smart cities risk creating the same psychological effect as a global scale. It's going, we don't need to have it go that way, but this was all in the NSA drops from Snowden, and WikiLeaks dropped all the emails and all the documentation, I should say, not emails, but so we have to look at it. And then why does this all matter for democracy? And surveillance isn't neutral. It's a shift power. That's why that's why it matters. Because the power shifts. It's imbalanced. And democracies risk flipping into a system where, I'm going to say it, it's chilling. And people conform for fear of being flagged. And that is, on a psychological level, it'll start to, you talk about mass psychosis now. It's going to have an effect on the human psyche. And we haven't yet even seen that. But people are going to, just, like that. Who knows? When a prisoner gets out, they're always on. I watched this, I think it was, what was it? It wasn't 60 Minutes. This was years ago. When they followed people that got out of prison, and they were weird. They were very strange, and they weren't right in their mind. And it was from the watching and being, enclosed for so long, and, having a routine, you get up, you eat, and, they have a routine, and the lights go off every night at the same time, and the lights go on at the same time. And it was that robotic type of program within them. But they were, psychologically, you could see that the pain that they never followed up on it, but I don't know how they were going to really make it in society, what I saw. Like, I felt sad for them, but some of the crime, is kind of, things that aren't good. But still, we have to have compassion, for God's sakes, we have to. So that's the effect that I see. We haven't yet seen it, but we're going to, if it goes through and we allow it and we don't stand up, we'll see weird things. So corporations profit from surveillance capitalism, trading our privacy for predictive ads and behavioral nudges. So they get they know us better than we know ourselves. So they get an edge on that. And that's how that works. And then you've got regimes change. And, it's like, you've got the government. See, I look at it differently. If I told you really what I thought, you would go, good God. But I'll just say what what kind of most people think is, you've got these regimes, like we have the right, the left. I'm going to start calling them regimes, because in so many ways, it's kind of like that. They're kind of like, the regimes is what they are, because they're never really for us. So what do we call them? And they use surveillance to crush opposition, us, the citizens, and silence truth, like the FBI or the CIA or the Pentagon or the, DOD or whatever you want to say, whatever, you want to say, but they silence the truth and they maintain permanent control. So they're like a regime, right? And Snowden warned privacy isn't about hiding. It's about protecting who we are, who you are. And the future of surveillance is about whether humanity actually gets to decide who we are, or whether AI data brokers and corporations decide for us. And that is the choice that we get. And if we don't choose wisely, then the regimes will have the power. And this is how I look at it. The future of surveillance isn't science fiction, because it kind of sounds like it. It's already here. And we're seeing that. And the tools Snowden exposed, the weapons WikiLeaks revealed, and now the AI-driven systems quietly being installed around us. And the question is not just, are we being watched? The question is, will we allow the surveillance to define what it means to be human? And that's the bottom line of all this. It's taking a piece of us, slowly but surely, of our divinity and our human aspect of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and turning us into some sort of robotic Sophia robot. And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like that. And I see it like that. So this is the end of part 3. And I'll finish up tomorrow, part 4. And I want everybody to think about this and really look at your own life and what do you see? Because don't just listen to me, go and listen to other people and listen to what they say. But listen to people that are just not BSing you and pull it out from, no history, and it's just like, this is what who cares? This is happening. The stuff that I went through today has been confirmed through all the facts that I've looked at. So think about it, and I'll see everybody. And this is a wrap. I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 4. All right, everybody. Bye now.